We'd like to interrupt this episode and let you know that our sponsor this week is us. If you want to see anything about cars, head over to TTC Cars and see things like this.
Or for truck and SUVs, head over to the Texas Truck channel for more stuff like this. Welcome to the Texas Truck channel, and we're here in Kona, Hawaii at a beautiful coffee farm at the Tacoma launch event. And we got a beautiful TRD seat right here. Brian, this comes in the TRD Pro, and it's got the nice digital camo. Looks really cool, kind of like we've seen it previously in the Tundra. But more importantly, Brian, I've got someone special here with us. I've got Sheldon Brown. He knows all about this sucker, and there's a lot to talk about with the seat, believe it or not. Sheldon, what's so special about the seat? This just looks like a red seat.
Well, hey, I appreciate you asking, because this is our all-new IsoDynamic Performance Seat. It's the first time that we've ever introduced anything like this at Toyota, and this is a true off-roader's seat. So let's talk a little bit about it.
Sure.
First and foremost, it has all the form, fit, and function of the other seats. You mentioned the tech camo, but it's got a heated seat. It's got ventilation, as you can see here. You maintain all of your power, and then a manual recline. Okay. But what's special is what's underneath the seat, and we start right here with a pivoting ball joint. Now, you won't be able to see that because it's covered here.
Sure.
But when we move to the back of the seat, that's where all the magic happens.
Okay, let's do that. Let's see that. Okay, all right, so this is not a normal seat. We've got a lot going on here. This looks like some sort of space thing. We got gauges and knobs and locks and wow. Yep. So what's going on here? What was the thought process? I have never seen this before in a truck. This is pretty interesting. Yeah, we thought of something kind of special here. So the genesis or the concept of this seat is really to help with off-road performance. And so if you think about someone, say for example, like a professional athlete, maybe like a downhill skier, you know, you'll notice that they want to keep their eyes focused, and while their body is moving, their head is staying stable. And that's the fundamental principle of what this seat is designed to do. When you're running down those trails and you're getting all of these inputs, your head's going like this.
You got it. The passenger's banging their head on the glass. You got it. This is to stabilize that. So it all begins with right here, and just behind this is our superstructure. It's a hot formed. We actually blow air through it and then quench it, and it's a bar that gives us all of our strength. So to remove some of that mass, back in here we actually have a resin glass filled seat back, as well as a seat pan. So that takes a lot of the mass back out of this compared to the traditional steel. But the real special part is right here, and this is our air over oil, basically dampening system. So if you guys have ever seen like a mountain bike application for like a front suspension, very, very similar. Using a simple Schrader valve, hand pump, you can change the overall pressure here, which will change the dampening. And we prescribe that based on the occupant's mass. We give you a general guideline, and then you can adjust it as you see fit.
That's okay.
But what happens is we then have these two, down here we have two dampening dampers right here, and that allows for dampening basically in the horizontal direction, and then two more here in the vertical direction. So one of these is for vertical, one of these is for horizontal. Okay. And then up back in here is another one of those ball joints with it's actually spring loaded. So it allows for some compression, but ultimately the seat can rock and move.
So the seat does, it's not just for this, it's also for side to side and kind of fore and aft.
And a little bit fore and aft, so if you get a big impact, this will kind of cushion that.
So the whole idea just slows it down. So this is more than just a Peterbilt seat where it's got a little spring in it. This is actually a lot more going on here.
That's right. It's almost, the only thing that we don't let you do is move forward, right? So, but we will take and take the compression out. So if we think about a long day on the trail, you're getting a lot of input still coming through.
Right.
We can reduce those inputs to the occupant by about 7%. And then those big high energy things, we can kind of knock off the edges. The great part about this is at the end of the day, much, much better, far less driver or passenger fatigue, and much better control. We run these seats down the trails, first time for people to run them, and I mean, they'll go 10, 15, 20 mile an hour down, you know, faster, just because you have confidence, because you're in control and you know what's going on in the truck.
Right. No, that is amazing. And so this is actually what it will look like in the truck.
This is the
seat.
This is the seat.
It is pretty cool. It's exposed. You can see this stuff. That's really neat. And what is this right here? Can you lock it and turn it off? Say, I don't know if you're driving around town and maybe you don't want all that, or maybe...
You got it. You nailed it. Exactly right. So quick 90-degree turn, flip of the switch. It goes from the road to the off-road. Or what this will do is completely lock out this, and it functions exactly as a standard seat.
This is a normal seat.
Yep. And this bolts right into the Pro. completely compatible with our restraint and our airbag system. So it gives you, it's the perfect seat.
Wow. Okay. And so just to clarify one last time, this is only available in the TRD Pro.
It's available exclusively on Pro.
Exclusively on the Pro, and it comes standard on the Pro.
And it comes standard on the Pro.
For the driver and the passenger, so the passenger's not left, he's not left out.
That's exactly
He or
right.
she's not left out.
That's exactly right.
We've noticed there's some O-rings in here. What's going on in there?
Yeah, actually we put those in there on both the horizontal absorbers as well as the vertical absorbers so that you can set those. And so let's say you run down your favorite trail. As you continue to run down, you can see how much displacement you have, and then you can increase or decrease the pressure depending on,
Gotcha.
you know, how you want that seat to perform. So if you really liked it, you know, leave it where it is. If you thought you had more displacement, you can give it a little bit more pressure, get a little bit more damping.
Very good. And then last but not least, I've got a co-host who's kind of tall.
All right.
And some say he's my brother. I don't know. But anyways, are we losing any height? Or, I mean, is he going to lose any headroom with the seat, or as far as that goes, there's no loss?
Actually, H point is identical.
Okay.
So exactly the same as the standard seats. And again, you have power adjustability here. And so yeah, it's built just like the rest of the seats in terms of how the occupant interfaces. Really the only difference that you might feel is of course the larger bolsters that you saw in front, and those are really there to kind of lock you in and keep you in.
So headroom remains the same?
Identical.
No loss of headroom. Last question we have, inch travel of this seat. So we talked about all the movement, fore, aft, up, down, sideways. How much travel actually is in there in all those different rows?
You get about 25 millimeters of travel, so about 1 inch.
Okay.
But that, of course, will also depend as you know how high you set the pressure, and then based on that, of course, if you need it, it's there. If you don't, obviously, you don't need to use it all. But it'll give you about fore, aft about 1 inch, up, down about 1 inch.
Very good. Well, Sheldon, thank you so much for coming on Texas Truck Channel. Hope you all learned something from that, and we've got more coming from the Tacoma launch event. We're going to get into all the different trims and models. So thanks for watching.